I'm going to go back to Washington tomorrow morning. And I'm not coming back until until we come up with a solution. We've been told by our speaker, you're coming back Monday, Walsh. Everybody's staying here until this thing gets done. Now, I know what I would like to see get done. I have an idea of what I think is going to get done. But it may take a little bit. My hunch is that you will see in the next day or two a couple plans. The House passed something last week called Cut, Cap, and Balance. I voted for that. I'm very proud of that. Would be happy to talk about it. Right now, that's the only plan out there. But Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, John Boehner, Mitch McConnell, you could see 2 or 3 things to look forward this week. I've been in the news a lot of late. Because I just tend to say what's on my mind, and I try not to hold back. Here's where I stand, and then I'll be done, and I want your questions and thoughts. I am not obsessed with August 2nd. I am obsessed with the debt crisis. We had folks from Standards, S&P, and Moody's come and talk to members of Congress last week about what's going to happen to our credit rating if August 2nd comes and goes, if we default, and all these, they mapped out all the scenarios. I walked away from that meeting convinced that even if we vote to raise the debt ceiling, our credit rating, in all likelihood, still may fall. And the folks at these credit agencies told us one other thing. Congressmen and women, if you raise the debt ceiling, but you don't combine it with something really serious about spending, in all likelihood, we're going to lower your credit rating. I've never felt like we have a debt ceiling crisis in this country. We have a debt crisis. We've been spending too much money. Both parties have done it. The last 2.5 years, there's been one party in charge, and they took it to limits like we've never seen. I believe what we need to do is pass a constitutional amendment, a balanced budget amendment that forces Republicans and Democrats to balance their books every year. Most states do it, have to do it. Some do it better than others. Where do we live? Most households struggle to do it. You all know, we all know, when you're up against your credit card limit, when you're overdrawn, you can't go to the bank, you can't go to your credit card company and say, let me borrow more. That's what your government's doing. Nobody in Congress wants to default. There are very few members of Congress that are as, shall we say, out there as I am. I have not met anyone in Congress who wants us to default. No one does. We have to pay our bills. But somehow, this week or next in Washington, your Republicans and your Democrats have to figure out how to do that with some sort of reform so we're all slapped so we never get to this point again. And then, we all as a country, once we can get by this debt ceiling crap, we got big issues to talk about. Because your country's still broke. Americans are living longer and longer and longer. More and more Americans are living longer and longer and longer. If this country doesn't have a conversation about how to pay for all that health care, shame on us, we're in trouble. We have to have some hard conversations about all this government we've got. We can get by this debt ceiling issue, but then the tough stuff hits. So pay attention this week. Don't just listen to MSNBC. Don't just listen to Fox. Don't just read the New York Times. Don't just read the Wall Street Journal. Get informed. Don't listen to people who get too political on this issue. It's just too important. I'll close with this. You know me well enough, some of you, that there's very little subtle about me, right? There are a number of us in Congress who went to Washington and we could give a damn about our next election. That's on tape. It drives my staff crazy, but I mean that. I am on a mission because I think each and every day we continue down this road, our kids and our grandkids are going to pay for it. And I haven't even started to talk about jobs and what's going on in the economy yet. I'm there to try to stop this. And so if I make some tough decisions and people get mad at me and they send Walsh back home, so be it. I'm going to hang out on my boat, I'll hang out at doctors, and I'll have a great next 30 years.